Alright, hey everybody. I'm presenting on branding the consumer citizen. So basically this conversation is sparked by the Dove Evolution campaign from 7 or 8 years ago, in which a normal, quote-unquote normal woman was transformed into a supermodel in front of our eyes, and Dove's stated goal was to raise women's self-esteem by challenging American beauty standards. The real goal was to sell soap, obviously, but it was received very well, and the video went viral, ended up winning awards for advertising. So it was sort of a watershed moment for commodity activism, and the takeaway is that an issue like women's self-esteem is very much a marketable commodity, and as the author mentions in the article, taking a stand against abortion or taking a stand on gay marriage is not a good business model because they're such controversial, split down the middle issues, whereas something like women's self-esteem, everyone sort of agrees that is something that's handled poorly in our society, so it's a way to take a stand without really risking anything. So as I mentioned, commodity activism is really the main focus of this article, and what commodity activism is taking a social movement or political activism and turning it into something you can buy, to basically show your support for whatever movement. So there's an example on the corner, there's a Gap red t-shirts that were raising awareness for AIDS in Africa. There are the Livestrong bracelets for Lance Armstrong's cancer research. So basically what it does is you attach your political and social meanings to these brands, and you wear a shirt or a bracelet to showcase your thoughts and beliefs on certain issues. So the article focuses on the 3 moments in history where this type of advertising changed. There was the mid-20th century version in which basically advertising was marketed to mass, basically America as a whole, because there were these values and standards that were seen as universal. But that gave way to niche marketing, which targeted specific racial and gendered groups. And then what we're dealing with now, and what the Dove campaign sort of sparked, is individuated marketing, which kind of blurs the lines between consumers and producers. It's the same people starring in the commercials might be the same people producing the commercials, or in the case of the Dove ones, there were women writing blogs for Dove who were not Dove employees, but they were advertising for them through these methods, and basically tells the individual that through these products they can empower themselves. So in the mid-20th century, commodities were seen to represent cultural and social value, and something like soap could be expanded and connected to larger ideas of race and pure American values. So if you could afford soap, you were not only becoming physically clean, but you were socially clean, as in you were white and accepted in American society. But that type of mass advertising was overtaken in the late 20th century by advertising where gender and racial groups were being targeted, specifically with issues that were affecting them, and in this case, this was when feminine beauty products began being marketed directly to women. And some people saw this as a negative thing because women were being asked to conform within patriarchal society to these beauty standards, while others saw it as establishing an actual cultural legitimacy for women, whereas they're being marketed directly to and can actually affect and participate in the market and the economy. So there were other examples like counterculture, where you can market tattered clothing, ripped jeans, and things like that to these rebellious groups, and also gay and lesbian identities became more prevalent and more marketable, as they had specific identities that could be marketed to. And then the 21st century is where this idea of individuated marketing came about. So basically, these ideas of individualism and choice and freedoms in being a consumer, they were used before with niche marketing, but the difference is that now they more focus on the individual's ability to be an entrepreneur of the self, as in you can empower your individual self through these products and not being marketed to as a member of a group, but more being marketed directly to you. So questions I thought of were, first of all, what are some current examples of individuated advertising? In the reading, she uses the example of Dove, the viral videos that were being produced by some of the real women who were involved in them. So where do we see that today? Also, following that progression of advertising methods from mass to niche to individual, where could that be heading next? What will it go back to mass advertising, or is there another method that we haven't seen yet? And the last question would be, which of these is the most effective? Obviously, right now, individual is working best, but do you see any of these eras as the peak of American advertising? So that's it, I guess.